This is the Boundry Trailbreaker truck bed rack system. It's a modular mounting system that can be used for 10 or more different things. Now let me explain to you why I'm so excited about this. After being out of mountain biking for many years for, well, dumb reasons, I decided to get back into it. So as I was wheeling my brand new mountain bike out into the parking lot to put it into the back of my truck, I realized two things. Number one, mountain bikes had gotten a lot longer. Number two, truck beds had gotten a lot shorter. Long gone were the days when you could just lay a bicycle down into the bed of a pickup truck. There's the Canadian bike rack system, and there's really nothing easier, especially for short hops. You just throw the bike over the tailgate. But with these new tailgates with the big wide wing in them, the bikes don't sit there nearly as stable as they used to. Plus there's the problem with dirt getting up underneath the pads, which scratches the paint. The bikes, they'll get scratched sometimes, or the wheel itself will cover the taillight. And let's also mention that I hate paying for backup sensors and cameras just to cover them up with a tailgate pad. Hitch mount racks are awesome, but in my case, I can't fit in the garage with one on, and they're heavy and cumbersome and hard to move around. I even went so far as to build my own mounting system that required removing the front wheel, but we discovered that because bikes had gotten so long, I couldn't even fit two bikes in the back of the truck. And that's when I stumbled across Boundry. I mean, the first one I saw, he had two dirt bikes up on it, and I thought, well, that's cool. If it'll hold dirt bikes, for sure it'll hold mountain bikes. And so I looked into Boundry and discovered that that's kind of their whole deal. So right now they have racks for motorcycles, mountain bike, skis, snowboards, lumber, spare tires, and I would imagine even more are planned. They have special brackets for everything, light bars, dog leashes, extra tie-down points, coolers, or if you want, you can put on a third brake light. Because it's completely modular, it should fit pretty much any pickup truck on the market, from Raptors to Rangers, Rams to Gladiators, and Tundras to Tacomas. It'll even work with a tonneau cover. You see, my pickup truck is my portal to adventure. I use it for everything from motorcycles to house projects, yes, mountain bikes. It does all the things. But the problem is, I'm fussy, and I go to great lengths to prevent scratches and damage. And to use Boundry's marketing materials, your pickup truck isn't a junk drawer. So I was sold on the idea before I even really saw one up close. It showed up in one big heavy box. There we go. And it took me about an hour to install without any help. And here's everything that came in the box. It was mostly packaged really well, except we have a little woogie here, which totally not worth mentioning. But this woogie here is not awesome. For everything being packaged up, it's a shame that got hit. We don't know if that's going to be visible, if that's going to be covered. I might hit that with some black spray paint just to prevent any kind of rust or rot getting there, because this lives on a vehicle, lives outside. And here's the hardware we're going to use to install it. I have some huge praise right here, and this sounds stupid, but they gave me metric hardware. It drives me batty that most of us drive Japanese vehicles, ride Japanese motorcycles, all mountain bikes are metric, and yet these products come with SAE American hardware. So huge kudos to Boundry for using metric hardware. Thank you so much for that. Because it's one rack that fits every truck, my only real frustration was that it would have been nice to get some vehicle-specific measurements. Almost all the assembly time was spent loosening and shifting and snugging and measuring to make sure everything was centered perfectly. If you're doing a Toyota Tacoma, the overlap from this position to this position, I got 13.4 millimeters on both sides. That has it perfectly centered. If I could have started at that position, it would have made the whole process super fast and easy. So far, the most difficult part was centering this top bar, getting everything lined up. Since the company is brand new, hopefully they'll start providing those numbers as time goes on. Aesthetically, for some unknown reason, Americans don't really seem to care for sport racks, despite the fact that they come on the coolest vehicles known to man worldwide from the factory. Now, for me personally, in 1985, the movie Back to the Future was aimed directly at my 12-year-old frontal cortex.
Check out that 4x4. That is hot.
Okay. So I don't care what anybody says. I think the Boundry looks absolutely fantastic. And I love that it's not just an aesthetic thing. I love that it actually has a job to do. So let's talk about how well it does that job. The sequence goes, you put the bike on the tailgate first, then you put the front wheel into its tray. This included strap goes around the wheel, and then this crossbar, which is also removable and modular depending on what you need, this strap goes around the pedal shaft and then sucks the whole bike down into the bed to hold it steady. The hardest part about removing the bike is lowering it down to the ground, but if you're at all ambulatory, it's really not a big deal. And that's about it, and it's pretty solid, even on some fairly rugged roads. Now, some may complain about having to climb into the back of the truck to put the bike in the rack, but come on, I'm riding a mountain bike. I just pedaled up 1,000 feet of elevation. I can stand to climb into the back of the truck to put my bike in. And compared to my old rack that I built myself, I found it a lot easier because not only did I have to remove the wheel on my old bike, but new bikes don't even come with quick releases anymore. So I was having to use a wrench to remove the wheel twice every time I put the bike in the rack. This is easier. So does it make noise when driving? Sometimes, not as much as you would think. If there's a weird crosswind, you might hear a little bit of a whistle, and that's when the bikes are in it. When the bikes aren't in the rack, I can't really hear anything. And that's even with me driving with the sunroof open, which I do all the time. Some other cool features, the Molly panels, right? You can put cool stuff on there like a gas can or a fire extinguisher or an axe. And these handles are so perfect for climbing up into the bed. That in and of itself almost makes the rack worthwhile. It is so much easier to climb in the back of the truck. They are perfectly placed. Plus, these little badges come in lots of different colors. I went with beige because beige is my favorite color. So I'm really happy with this thing. I mean, it looks sick. Did I mention that part? So what are some things that could have been better? Well, as I mentioned, it would have been nice to get some vehicle-specific measurements. That was the biggest hassle of ownership so far. But you know, new company, it's hard to be too critical of that. I'm not crazy about the hardware. It's just this zinc coated. It would have been way better looking if it was black or even just some stainless steel. I think the zinc just looks kind of chintzy. The little grips and the badging appears to be just glued on. I don't know how well they're gonna last. I've been using this rack for about 6 months and they look exactly the same today as they did 6 months ago, so we'll have to see how that plays out in the long run. I'm a bit worried about the rubber caps on the end of the T-rail. They just fit and slide over the end. I think they come off just a little bit too easily, and I don't know how well they're gonna hold up after years and years in the sun. When I hopped on their website to see if they had replacements available listed, they don't. However, I expect if one popped off or got lost, you could email them and obtain some replacements. And then despite how much I go on about how good it looks, aesthetically, I'm not really sure about the overhang of the T-bar on top. I mean, I'm undecided. Does it look good with the overhang? It'd be easy enough to cut down to a shorter length. I keep going back and forth. Is it good like this? Should it be shorter? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And then the final consideration that I think anybody looking at this needs to think about is that the bikes are above the roofline of the truck. So you don't want to pull into the garage. As a reminder for myself, I hung this $30 Amazon domed mirror above the door. So hopefully that prevents any accidental destruction. In any case, I really love to see new innovative products that offer to solve a problem, come out swinging, and deliver exactly as promised. So that's impressive. The other thing is it's entirely made in America. And more than just that, it's made in my home state of Utah. It's made probably 30 miles from where I'm standing. That's really cool. And before you ask, this wasn't given to me. I paid for it. I'm not getting paid to say anything in this review, but when I was shopping for it, I would have killed to have seen some video footage or known what it looked like and had an idea before I pulled the trigger. So here we are. If you'd like to learn more, I put some links down in the description, and they're not even affiliate links. I get paid nothing for this. But if you are in the same boat I was, where you use your truck for lots of different things and you don't want it to be a junk drawer, and you don't want to damage your expensive vehicle, and you don't want to have to haul things with your tailgate down, give Boundry a look-see. I've been really impressed. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. We'll see you next time.